FNAF being as old as it is, it clearly has some missing links, okay? The lore we've established ourselves is so goddamn stupid and confusing that honestly, we don't even know if it's right. But then there's the urban legends, alright? Little stories that we've believed throughout the past few years that really make us question just what about the series is real and what isn't, okay? And those urban legends that eventually proved to be true that I missed multiple times are what we're exploring today. Let's do it. In at 10, ghost stories. There was a thread on the FNAF Reddit about role-playing as an in-universe FNAF outsider, and this tale comes from Super Bowl Meme, who thought that the ghost stories were just that, ghost stories. I remember going to Fazbear's during its final days open. It was fun, despite all the rumors surrounding the place. I went back there recently though, and my experience has shown me things I never could have imagined. I busted in late at night around 4 AM, and the place was abandoned for several years before this, and it showed. Without maintenance, the place looked like the opposite of somewhere children would want to go, and I looked around and I was trying to find something, like literally anything, but all I found was the stage and the performers. They were, old to say the least, completely rotten and moldy, and I could barely breathe around them. Then after seeing them, I noticed something. They were focusing on me. Solely on me. Then Freddy blinked. I've never ran faster before, and I don't know if it was a dream or maybe those rumors are more than just stories. Their eyes told me everything. In at 9, Twitter. The Twitter account DiamondZia on June 27, 2020 tweeted out 3 photos with the line FNAF will be real in 48 hours. These pictures were just of news articles, one from USA Today titled 5 children have gone missing inside Chuck E. Cheese, one from Associated Press called post-hour worker at Chuck E. Cheese reported dead at 27, and a final one from something news, couldn't quite tell what it was, saying night shift worker at Chuck E. Cheese's claims strange movement from animatronics during post hours. However, this title had animatronics spelled incorrect. Yeah, everyone was freaking out at the pictures and the articles, particularly the first one, and they were shared all across the internet. People were freaking out because, you know, we all thought that FNAF was going to be real. Chuck E. Cheese was closing at this time too. However, people didn't realize that these were fake. How are they fake, do you ask? Source code editing, okay? You can change whatever, like what anything says on a website. All you need to do is inspect the source code on like Google Chrome or something, okay? You just need to find the aspect that you're looking for, then once you do, you can change it to whatever you want. So whoever made the original image found an article about Chuck E. Cheese closing or something, and then just changed it to 5 children going missing, okay? And the same thing with the other ones. That's why there was only pictures and not actual articles. However, now we know that Freddy Fazbear's is getting a pizza delivery service, so I guess technically, in a way, Freddy Fazbear's was real, but not in the actual location, okay? There's no location. And it 8, doors. This was bound to be on a list eventually, okay? I hate the goddamn mother doors in this game. Why do they open when the power is out? That makes no sense. Even if it's like an electromagnet, like everyone keeps saying in the comments whenever I bring this up, those require power to turn on. So if anything, it would be costing power to keep the door open rather than closed. Gravity doesn't work in reverse. If the magnet is off, then the door would just fall down. I get that it's for gameplay purposes, okay, but what in this universe makes this make sense? There's no conceivable way that these doors should work in this fashion, but they do, and it makes me mad. Like, why would you do this to me? Sky Daddy Scott, bringing it back. Why? This is so stupid. I don't know. I don't know if anyone can actually believe that this is how they work, okay? Some people say it's a fire safety thing, but if the building runs out of power, how are the doors open? Electromagnets don't work like that. God, it would cost more power to keep them open. At least operating at normal logic levels, okay? The tales of these doors have to be some form of Legend of the FNAF universe, because they're just stupid. And it's 7, investigation. Speaking of things that are too ridiculous for people to believe, do FNAF universe people think that the cops are horrible at their job? Like, we know that there was an investigation into the incidents thanks to Midnight Motorist from FNAF 6, but they never found the bodies. Like, even though the animatronics smelt like death and were oozing blood and mucus, so much that they had to shut down according to FNAF 1 newspaper clippings. So, what gives? Why did they close the investigation so quickly? Or why didn't they look into the suits when it was reported that they had blood on them? I don't care if it's the 80s and the police don't have the tech they do now. If a place you are investigating because there's missing people and you found no bodies and then something starts leaking blood, you go and check the thing out. You can't just leave and be like, that can't be related. Who the hell thinks like that? It's so stupid. And honestly, even though it's a game and like there had to be a reason to continue on, it shouldn't have happened. I get that like they'd found the body, like if they found the bodies, we wouldn't have gotten the games. But sometimes it's quality over quantity, okay? You know, maybe they had to meet their arrest quota for the month, so they just arrested someone. Is the incompetence of the police, like, is that a legend in this universe, or what do they think happened? And at 6, FNAF ARG. This was brought up in a recent MatPat FNAF theory, okay? The basic idea is that the FNAF Fazbear Frights books were originally going to have an ARG that Scott ended up cutting out for whatever reason, and then released part of it in the Felix the Shark Book 12. However, I'm here to tell you guys, not real. Scott has said on multiple occasions that he doesn't want to cross the line between fact and fiction, that he wanted to keep these two worlds separate, probably because FNAF relates so closely to Chuck E. Cheese, and there might be some legal trouble there, but that's also why he said he would never make a real location. He stuck so hard to that he didn't even make a website for the indie game dev introduced in FNAF VR because he thought that would be too fuzzy. So there is no FNAF ARG, okay? If a website relating to the game is too much, there is no bigger quest here. Last time we thought there was a restaurant and ended up getting harassed, and then a pizzeria owner who just so happened to be named Mike also got harassed, so please don't go out searching for this. And if there was one, I'm sure that Scott would have said something about it. Don't harass random people, okay? Just stick to the games and the game files themselves. But, with that being said, with the appearance of a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza delivery service from Virtual Dining Concepts, maybe there's an outlet for Scott to release secret bits of lore. However, it would involve people needing to buy food, so if he chose to do that, it may not go over the best, but still, even if that is the case, it would only come from this virtual restaurant, nowhere else. Halfway through into number 5, Felix the Shark. Felix the Shark is the first story in Fazbear Frights 12, Felix the Shark, and unofficially, the Fazbear Frights series 34th story, and it's written by Andrea Wagner. And I feel like this is, like, the entire book is more so FNAF Urban Legends since these didn't make it into official release. So this one in particular though is worth pointing out since it does resemble Sparky the dog in many ways. Dirk, an adult, reminisces about Freddy's with his group of friends. They all bond over the familiar characters of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. However, when Dirk brings up the character Felix the Shark, his friends get confused. He recalls specific details, that Felix the Shark was kept in an aquarium-like large tube around the pizzeria that visitors could enter and swim up along with him, but his friends believed that he was just making it up. Determined to prove this memory was true, Dirk visits multiple Freddy's locations in many states to find one that actually had a Felix. And finally, in a near abandoned town, he finds a few people who remember Felix, all of whom had terrible nightmares concerning him. And this is exactly how urban legends start and grow. And I mean, in this it turned out to be true, but come on, this whole book is urban legends, even by FNAF Fazbear Frights standards. And at 4, FNAF AR. I've said it before and I will say it a million times. Why is the company sending out animatronics that they know are dangerous? The whole point of FNAF AR is that the company is sending these people animatronics to try and rebuild their reputation, right? But then they see that they're infected with the virus that's turning them hostile, and instead of recalling them like any normal company, they send out more, including multiple versions of the killer that caused them to ruin their reputation in the first place. What did they not think that, like, it was just an older Bonnie model and they're like, oh yeah, Springtrap? Okay, come on. If that was the case, it would be listed in AR as Old Bonnie or Spring Bonnie, not Springtrap, okay? They know exactly what they're doing and nobody called them out for it. Companies will get in trouble for making, like, the freaking tiniest mistake in their games, but then this company can get away with just letting people die. That's sus as hell, okay? Purple is sus. That's so ridiculous that the FNAF universe had to believe that this concept is just an urban legend, right? Like, that's so dumb. Who would do that? Nobody would believe that it actually happened. Getting close to the end, and at number 3, Princess Cassidy. According to one very adamant viewer during my last 24-hour live stream, that was a whole other set of emotional trauma, there's a theory that the princess in Princess Quest is actually meant to be Cassidy. And while I don't agree with that theory, it's still a theory nonetheless, so I might as well talk about it. This theory generated from some apparent files within one of the games. I'm guessing that it was security breach, given that there are 3 games in that one compared to FNAF VR's mobile version where there was only 1. But apparently, according to this viewer, those files indicated that it was Cassidy, because it was named Cassidy, okay? Apparently that they changed it, so there goes that evidence. But despite me saying that I didn't care what it found, they were very adamant and were swearing by it. They swore that it was Cassidy. The only reason that I could believe this would be for purely symbolic reasons, since Cassidy would technically be trying to torture William if they were the one you should not have killed, which I still don't believe, but that would also end up giving her a motive to free Vanessa from William's control. But that would be the only reasoning I'd be able to actually think of for this, which makes it seem more like a hypothesis than a theory to me, especially given that they changed the file, the name on the file so it wasn't Cassidy. And while Cassidy may have been incorrect, it did end up containing a soul, the soul of Vanessa. So in the end, it is true, in a way, which makes it good enough for this list. Okay, I'm kinda stretching at this point. 3 parts is a lot. But ultimately, in at number 2, Fazbear Frights. While yes, I did include Felix the Shark and his whole book on the list as a number, that's because those are like even legends in the Fazbear Frights universe, like I said, since they were cut stories that were thrown together for a cash grab 12th book, let's be honest. However, I think that by FNAF standards, all these stories would have to be legends. I mean, like, come on, the story of a man who can't die in a hospital. While relating to Afton, we know that it didn't happen since we see Afton in the burn trap suit in Security Breach. Plus, sea bonnies, come on, that's so utterly insane and stupid that these stories must only fit into the lore by being legends. Like, things based in somewhat of a real original story that then get blown out of proportion to be something else, but with that root of reality. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between a myth and a legend, okay? Myths are entirely fictional, then legends have kind of a root. That's the one thing I learned from my second semester, second year college elective, okay? It's the only thing though. This entire book series are just FNAF universe legends that are passed around in universe, which kind of makes them cooler because it's a look into like the general population of the FNAF universe, but that's a thing for another day. And finally, in at number 1, God's Wrath. Okay, so this seems to be an easy way of interpreting multiple fires that keep happening at FNAF locations. It could possibly be seen as God, or a god, trying to cleanse the restaurants, or punishing them for causing so much grief, okay? I mean, think about it. There have been 3 fires now at FNAF locations, including Fazbear's Fright, the simulated pizzeria from FNAF 6, and then the Security Breach Mega Pizzaplex. Each location having some form of horrible story attached to it. And I think that in a way, the people may have started to see these places as cursed, or maybe every fire makes them think the place is cleansed of their darkness, which means that they can go back, which explains why everyone is just constantly returning to Fazbear's despite multiple kids going missing every time. Like in the Security Breach opening scene, it's packed full of kids despite there being 9 kids that have gone missing there already. So maybe the explanation is that the darkness and sins of the restaurant are cleansed due to fire. Or maybe they think that the place is cursed to eternally suffer God's wrath, and that's why there's so much darkness around the place. But then again, if you think that it's cursed to suffer God's wrath because of the horrible people, why would you go back? Basically, I'm using this to call out why are people going back, okay? It's stupid. Don't do it. Stop. Just think, please. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Sean Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. I need to question everyone in this goddamn series.